Hello YouTube and welcome to another Python tutorial. So in this video I'll show you how to use bar chart using the Matplotlib library in Linux. So are you ready? Let's get started. So as you have seen on my last video, actually I showed you how to plot pie charts, okay? But in this video we will talk a little bit about bar charts. So let's begin. So as usual, we're gonna import actually the Matplotlib library and use it. So the usual thing from Matplotlib import pyplot as plt. So this is the common way used by most developers to use actually the plt or pyplot model from Matplotlib, okay? And we're gonna use actually style. So plt dot style dot use, and we're gonna use the most common one, which is 538. Okay, so now let's begin with our data. So here I'm gonna use actually some students notes data to work with. So first of all, let's grab some students. So it's gonna be just some list of names. So for example, Max, then John, then let's say Sarah, why not? And let's add another one, which is Thomas or Thompson, as you like. So now let's add actually some math notes. So another list, I'm gonna name it math notes, and it's going also to be a list of notes. So for Max, for math, it has actually, let's say 15. For John, let's say it has 10. For Sarah, let's say she has actually 16. Then finally for Thomas, let's say just 13. Okay, let's add another name just to have more data. For example, Alexander, okay. And for the notes, I'm gonna say he has 14. Okay, so the usual way to display this in Matplotlib, we use the common function plt.plot, which actually will plot here just that in a line format. So for the axis, that will be students, and for the y axis it will be the math notes. So let's say the display there. So plt dot, let's say for the title I'm gonna make it for example students note. Okay, and let's show actually our plot here. Here we go. We're gonna save that. I'm gonna go to the directory. I'm gonna run Python 3 and the name of my file, which is myplot.py. So let's run that. Here we go. As you can see, we have this graph here, which is a line graph because we have here 9 lines. In the axis we have the name of our students, and for the y-axis we have the notes. But we don't want to do that. We want bar chart. So in order to work with bar charts, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is to replace here this method here, plot by bar. Okay, here we go. We're gonna save and let's run it once again. And now you can see we have our bar charts with students and the notes. Okay, let's return back to our code. We can here tweak something. For example, here we can add a label. So the label for our graph will be actually mat nodes. Okay, and let's say choose also a color. For example, let's just make it red, and here we have to add legend actually for our graph. So let's run that. Here we go, we have our red color. We have here, as you can see, the legend which is mat nodes. Okay, but now let's say that we want to actually display two graphs, two bar charts in our here in our program. So for example, let's add some physics nodes. So I'm gonna name that physics nodes, and let's add, for example, here 8, 11, let's say 18, why not, 12, then let's make here just 15. Okay, so in order to display the second bar chart, all we have to do is to do the same line here, plt.bar, but to replace here mat nodes by actually physics nodes. So I'm gonna duplicate this line here. Here we have to replace mat by physics. Make sure not make mistake. And for label that will be physics nodes. And for the color, let's make here, for example, blue, and here I'm gonna choose green. Okay, so we have here all what we need. Let's save that and run our code to see if everything is working. Here we go. So for the blue color we have some mat nodes, and for the physics node we have the green color. We have our legend here, so everything works great. But here, as you can see, for Alexander, for example, we cannot see the bar chart for maths because the 15 is actually superior at the mat nodes, and also for Sarah and John. So how can we fix that? How can we actually display two bar charts side by side or in the same graph? So to solve this problem, we actually have to import NumPy and use it. So we're gonna import NumPy, which is a very famous library as NP. So this is usual way we use NumPy. And now here we're gonna add what we call some X indexes. For the X indexes, it's gonna be actually a list of arrays of numbers, and for that we're gonna use NumPy that function arange, and that will be equal to the length of our students, which is list of students. Okay, we're gonna also use the width equal to 2, for example 2.25, and here for the students access we're gonna replace it by this X indexes. So for both here and for both here. So actually here we're gonna offset the two charts. We're gonna offset by 2.25 the bar chart for maths with the bar chart for notes. Okay, so here the width will be our width, which is the width of our column, minus, we're gonna use the width parameters for the bar method for both sides, for both nodes actually. Width, here we go. So we have here our width in both functions here, and here we have to subtract this width value in order to offset it from the other chart. Okay, so it's pretty easy, pretty simple. Let's save that, and now let's run it once again to see the result. Here we go. So now we have our chart side by side and our legend. So here you can see clearly the result of our actually offsetting the two bar chart for math and for physics. Okay, so that was just a brief introduction how to use bar chart with the Matplotlib library in Python. As always, I hope it has been informative for you, and I want to thank you for viewing. Bye bye.